Either walikupa 30% yote ukauza, utuambie ilienda wapi? 30% ya barabara tunauliza viongozi wetu wawili na tunawapenda, ilienda wapi? Mama wetu wanaumia hapo. Sisi hatuna barabara. Ukiangalia barabara zetu Western zimekwama zote. 30% Speaker Wetangula, ilienda wapi? Badala ya kufikiria vile unapanga kuangamiza Wamboka, tuambie 30% yetu ilienda wapi?
Yes, after getting to know that the Western region got 30% of the shares, very many leaders from the Western Kenya are coming out to ask Moses Wetangula and MUDAVADI at what extent the 30% of the share within government has helped the Western region. You know, the Western region is the second most populous community, but it has not got a chance to be at the helm of the presidency, despite the fact being in that position, to an extent that even communities which have less people have been in key positions and also control the politics of Kenya. Do you know why? Because the leaders, the purported leaders or the spokesperson of the Western community are weak. They are not fighters on the national scene. I'll give you, for example, a person who has ever stood for presidency is Musalia Mudavadi from Western. But remember, Musalia Mudavadi has a lot of issues which curtail him from being the president because he comes from the minority of the LUHYA nation. We all remember that Musalia Mudavadi comes from the Maragoris. I didn't buy the video about that, telling you how a person from the Maragoris cannot be the spokesperson of the entire community. The only person who can have that chance is a person who comes from the becasue, and that is Moses Wetangula. Although Moses Wetangula doesn't have the ambitions of becoming the president, at least by face value. So if a person who's well placed like Moses Wetangula does not have the ambitions of becoming the president, the LUHYA nation is always taken by Raila Amolo Odinga. Okay? So leaders from Mountain Kenya, especially young leaders, are coming out to question these two people about the 30%, and among those leaders is MP WAMBOKA. I think he comes from Bumula. He came out to question about the 20%. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the 30% of the Kenya Kwanza government and why leaders from Mountain Kenya are coming out to ask their principles, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So we all know that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua came out and said that according to the Kenya Kwanza coalition government, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula were supposed to get 30% share of government. Okay? And now MPs from this region are coming out to question the same. Okay? Asking these principles. And I think they have a right. And in fact, this thing is going to be used against them to show you that these people don't have a lot of influence in Western region. Because the spokesperson, and that's Musalia Mudavadi, is weak. In fact, if I was from Western, I would fight hard for Moses Wetangula to take up the mantle because one, he has the advantage of coming from the becasue community, which is the majority, and now is the National Assembly Speaker. Okay? Okay? In the order of precedence, Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, is not anchored in the law, yet the Speaker of Parliament is anchored in the law. So in the order of precedence, Wetangula is way more ahead than Musalia Mudavadi. Before I proceed on this, let me first play you the tape when MP for Mula WAMBOKA was questioning Wetangula. Here's the tape.
Either walikupa 30% yote ukauza, utuambie ilienda wapi? 30% ya barabara tunauliza viongozi wetu wawili na tunawapenda, ilienda wapi? Mama wetu wanaumia hapo. sisi hatuna barabara. Ukiangalia barabara zetu Western zimekwama zote. 30% Speaker Wetangula ilienda wapi? Badala ya kufikiria vile unapanga kuangamiza Wamboka, tuambie 30% yetu ilienda wapi? Hiyo ndio shida yetu. Yani hivyo kusiasa bado oliole bwami. Saul. Yani
Wamboka is questioning WETANGULA and MUDAVADI, where do they put 30%? And for me, I think even if the agreement was supposed to be followed to the dot, they were not supposed to even hold those positions because they failed to bring 70% of the votes. That is if the agreement is supposed to be followed to the dot. Because in the agreement it was said that Western region would vote for Kenya Kwanza government at a tune of 70% for them to get those positions. But nevertheless, they got the positions without fulfilling the agreement. Okay? So for me, I think if Western wants to be on a national character, and when they already are, but if they want to take up the presidency, that is the president and deputy president, they should get a becasue, because he will be galvanizing a lot of votes from Mountain Kenya. It's the reason as to why in Vihiga they voted for ODM. Even at the polling station where MUDAVADI voted, they voted for ODM. Yet in Bungoma voted a difference of 200,000 votes for Kenya Kwanza. It means that WETANGULA has an effect in the Western Kenya politics, just that he doesn't expose this to the entire region. He doesn't want to. He doesn't have the ambition of becoming the president. Yet is the rightful person to be placed to fight for this position. Let's continue.
Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa tu one term MP, deputy president. One term. Ruto Gabriel Sari bano bali skuli, sai president. Malaba alikuja na kama panga. Wako na Ndindi Nyoro, kina Kimani Chu. Kama panga. Barwa banende kina Haron Cherioti, kina Murkomen. Efweno bahalole kana ko bali kabenyo hakina Wamboka. Omundu wenya ho holori ko bandu bevo hoko sina we eshide wa Wambokezi wamai nabaji chamule manase.
So in that video you clearly see MP Wamboka is coming out to say, to also give reference to other communities, telling his people that Gachagua was a one-time MP, became deputy president. Now they have Ndindi Nyoro and others. The reason as to why Western Kenya is not united up to now is because you have a weak leader in the names of Musalia Mudavadi. He's not well placed. He comes from the minority. Is the reason as to why even Kindiki cannot lead Mountain Kenya, because he comes from the minority of Mountain Kenya, although he's a good leader. So if Western wants to be at the presidency, it must get a becasue person. It's like going to Nyanza. Nyanza has tribes like Wanga. Wanga cannot be the spokesperson of the entire Nyanza region because they are the minority. Okay? So, if people from Western want to be at the presidency, they must get a becasue who wants to be president. And in this case, WETANGULA would have made a good president, but he's not a fighter when it comes to presidency. And he doesn't want to take a risk. That's why he has never stood for presidents. That's why even amid his negotiations, he stood for Senator Bungoma, yet he wanted to be a national speaker, and he had to resign because of fearing to take risks. People who want to take risks are the people who take big things. For example, Gachagua had to take a risk of leaving his seat of Mathira to stand as deputy president. Okay? People who take risks in life are the ones who benefit from the good. It is the reason as to why, even amidst this impeachment process, very many people wanted Rigathi Gachagua to resign. But remember, resigning, it is a safe place, but it doesn't guarantee you, it doesn't give you a platform to fight for your ambition of being president. Yet, fighting till the end, and maybe the Senate or the courts acquit you, you'll be on the platform as a deputy president to fight for the presidency. Okay? So, Wamboka is right. Because we got to know about the shareholding narrative. Gachagua spoke about this. In fact, Gachagua said these statements about shares. I want you to listen very, very carefully.
So unajua sasa ile shida iko Kenya hii ni ukora and people not being truthful. The agreements are here. The office of the deputy president will be allowed specific duties identified at Article 21 of the agreement. ANC will be allocated a position of prime cabinet secretary to be established within 14 days. It was given to Musalia. The office of the deputy president, Ford Kenya will be allocated the position of the Speaker of the National Assembly, which was given to Moses Wetangula. In accord with Article 2.1 of the Power Sharing Agreement, ANC and Ford Kenya would have a 30% share of national government positions. So, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Honorable Wetangula, and the people of Western, please don't condemn Rigathi Gachagua. The agreement is here defining your share in the government. It is not me. I did not sign this document. It was signed by Musalia, Wetangula, and President William Ruto. So when I say about this share thing in terms of positions, I've never talked about resources, about development, although it is also here, is that regions bargained with the president for shares. Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula bargained for 30% of shares within the Kenya Kwanza government.
So those are the comments of the deputy president that triggered MP WAMBOKA to attack Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi. And you know, this impeachment motion is going to be so exciting. And by the look of things, Rigathi Gachagua is going to be let off the hook and is going to be the president in 2027. Because some overzealous people thought, because if MP WAMBOKA comes out to attack his principles, it means that he's at a liberty of the near future to support even the deputy president. So those are the statements that triggered MP WAMBOKA to ask his principals, his spokesperson in matters of regional politics, to account for the 30% shares. Okay? And it shows how weak these leaders are. The right person to be the spokesperson of Mlembe Nation is supposed to be Wetangula, but he fears to take risks. He wants always to play safe, but is in a position which is supposed to lead the Western. And remember, he's also aging. He's entering 70s. He's even older than Musalia Mudavadi. So it means that he has wasted a lot of his time. In fact, if I was Musalia Mudavadi amidst this politics in 2027, because I'm sure by what happened to Rigathi Gachagua, he will be a presidential candidate in 2027. So if I'm Wetangula, at least I have to deputize one of them. Because I know Ruto, if he's wise, he cannot get a candidate from Kenya as his deputy because the mountain is gone. He'll rather get from somewhere. So the right person would be Wetangula to deputize either Gachagua or Ruto, because Wetangula will be having the swinging vote in these presidential candidates. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop me a comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.